We have 2 meetings left. We have a local planning agency meeting and then our regular city commission meeting, September 5th, 2017. I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call.
Mayor Weissman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Weinberg.
Here.
Commissioner Landman.
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Mizrahi.
Here.
Commissioner Narotsky.
Here.
Commissioner Shelley. Mr. Soroka.
Here.
Mr. Wolfen. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask for a motion for approval of the minutes of June 14th, 2017.
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Landman. Can I have a second? Second made by Commissioner Shelley. A public hearing for motions recommending the adoption of the following ordinance. I'm going to ask the city attorney to read the ordinance being considered.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Chapter 31, Land Development Regulations by creating Section 31-151, Uses Prohibited in All Zoning Districts of Article 7, Use Regulations of Chapter 31, Land Development Regulations, regulating prohibited uses generally and specifically prohibiting medical marijuana dispensaries, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I ask for a motion recommending the adoption of the ordinance? The motion made by Commissioner Mizrahi. Can I have a second? Second made by Commissioner Landman. I'm going to ask the city attorney to review this item.
Thank you, Mayor. Presently, our city code already provides that any use that is not listed in the comprehensive land development regulations as a permitted, special exception, or conditional use is prohibited. However, in light of the new state law that specifically states that if a city wishes to ban and prohibit medical marijuana dispensaries, it should do so by specific ordinance. This ordinance has been drafted as directed at a city commission meeting, I believe it was back in June, a workshop meeting. And this would serve to expressly provide that the medical marijuana dispensaries may not be located in the city. If the city did not adopt this ordinance, then the city would have to treat medical marijuana dispensaries the same way as it treats all drugstores and pharmacies. Of course, the adoption of this ordinance will not prevent persons with proper authority from having medical marijuana prescribed to them, delivered to their homes, or it will not prohibit them from purchasing it and receiving it at other cities or locations where it's allowed.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to ask if any members of the commission have any questions or comments. Commissioner Mizrahi.
First of all, I want to say that I'm very happy to see a lot of young people today. And while I do believe that medical marijuana has its benefits in the medical field, especially with seizures, cancer, epilepsy, and other diagnoses, the way the state has approved its distribution is very far from benefiting anyone. While the growers, dispensaries, and doctors are ready to go since the day the law passed, on the local and state level, no one is ready for the impact it will cause. I honestly thought that being medical marijuana will be sold as any antibiotic or any other prescription medicine, with a doctor's prescription and bought in any pharmacy. To my surprise, after learning how it will be sold at the Florida League of Cities Medical Marijuana Symposium, it will be sold in dispensaries called medical marijuana treatment centers that literally look like spas or jewelry stores, located anywhere that the cities will allow. According to the American Society of Addiction Medicine, and I am quoting, in order for physicians to fulfill their professional obligation to patients, and in order for patients to be offered the high standard of medical care that we have come to expect in the United States, cannabis-based product must meet the same exact standards that we apply to other prescription medicines. Members of the American Society of Addiction Medicine are physicians first and experts in addiction medicine with knowledge of a specific risk associated with the substance with high abuse potential. The association must stand strongly behind the standard that any clinical use of a controlled substance must meet high standards to protect the patient and the public. The approval of medical marijuana does not meet this standard. One of the recommendations of the association is that it asserts that cannabis and cannabis-based products and cannabis delivery service should be subject to standards that are applicable to other prescription medications and medical devices, and that these products should not be distributed otherwise provided to patients unless and until such products have received the marketing approval from the Food and Drug Administration. End of quote. Another very interesting report for those who would like to further knowledge on this is an update on its medical use commissioned by the Secretariat and Expert Committee on Drug Dependence, Department of Essential Medicals and Health Products, and the World Health Organization to the Harvard Medical School. If you want to read further on this. Even though I do take into account that 71% of the voters agreed to legalize, I do not think that they were very well educated. For example, one of my biggest surprises was that not only you can be eligible for medical marijuana if you have seizures, epilepsy, or cancer, but also non-malignant chronic pain. That means any kind of pain that any of you can have. I have a knee pain, so that means that I'm eligible for medical marijuana. Having the dispensaries is also opening the door to recreational marijuana, and we are still in baby steps with the initial results from some of the states that have legalized it. For example, there is a significance in traffic in Greece based on marijuana use of 114% since it was legalized in California, as well as hospital visits related to marijuana from 963 visits before its legalization to 2,277 just a year after, only related to marijuana use. Another huge concern is the safety of the city residents and the increase in police surveillance due to the fact that medical marijuana is a cash business only. Currently, marijuana is still an illegal drug on the federal government, so no bank can accept any money from the sale of this or any transactions related to buying and selling. The sales from the legalized marijuana went in 2016 from $7 billion to $53 billion. Is our city ready for this impact? Do we really need to add extra provisions in the budgets for the extra police? I really don't think that our residents would be ready for this impact. The process of dispensing legal marijuana, it's in its infancy. And the current protocols are not what we would expect on the City of Excellence. Poorly planned legal dispensaries have a high potential of bringing irreversible collateral and social damage to our community. Just an example, any middle or high school unable to obtain legal marijuana can just buy cards from those who are approved and is looking for extra cash. Maybe I'm very old-fashioned. Maybe I'm very naive. Or maybe it was because I come from Colombia and saw how a country that I lived in became a real war zone by selling marijuana. And it will open the door to harm our children and a real negative impact for the city. Thank you.
Commissioner Shelley.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions for you, David, if you would. What we're doing is we're prohibiting the distribution of it within the city of Aventura, correct?
We are prohibiting, this ordinance would prohibit the location of a dispensary,
Yeah.
which is a place where one may pick up the
Yeah.
medication.
Okay, so what if they go to OGIS and OGIS has a delivery service and they deliver it to somebody in Aventura? Is that allowed?
Yes, that would be allowed. That would not be prohibited.
Okay, so in other words, they can have it delivered to their home, they can use it in their home, but they just can't buy it in a store in Aventura.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
With a little due respect, Commissioner Shelley, it's kind of like the puppy mills. You can go into our neighboring cities and see them, but we don't have them here.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Okay, any other commissioner? Okay, then I'm going to open this item for public comment. And considering our audience today, I would love to have some public comment on this item. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address this? Okay, then I'm going to close the item for public comment. And I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Weinberg,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn the local planning agency meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Narotsky. Can I have a second? Made by Commissioner Landman. I'm going to declare the local planning agency meeting adjourned. Okay, our next item is our regularly scheduled city commission meeting, September 5th, 2017. And I will ask once again for the clerk to do a roll call.
Mayor Weissman,
I'm still here.
Vice Mayor Weinberg.
Here.
Commissioner Landman,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Mizrahi. Commissioner Narotsky,
Here.
Commissioner Shelley,
I'm still here.
Mr. Soroka.
Here.
Mr. Wolfen. You have a quorum.
Thank you. And because we've already done the Pledge of Allegiance, we do not need to do this again. It was done in the first budget hearing. I'm going to ask the city manager if there are any deletions or additions to the agenda.
We have none tonight.
We have none, thank you. That brings us to our special presentations. And maybe, let me ask Vice Mayor Weinberg and any other commissioner, particularly Commissioner Landman, because this was her item, if you would like to go down to hand these certificates out, and I have the pleasure of announcing our Youth Advisory Board. This is the first time in the history of Aventura that we have created a Youth Advisory Board. Our city continues to get younger every single day, and you guys are what it's about. Okay, you're what it's about. So a number of months ago, Commissioner Landman brought an item. It was unanimously supported by the commission. We had applications. We got an awful lot. We didn't really think we would. We got an awful lot of outstanding applications. The city manager, myself, and the clerk interviewed most people. We read all the applications. If I wasn't available, the city manager did it. And now it's my pleasure, if you'll go down, and I'll just do a little reading while you're there. The first member of our Youth Advisory Board is Sophia Korn. So, Sophia, if you could come up. Sophia is a 10th grader. She's a former student at ACES. The Rakudim, and I hope I say it right, Israeli dancer invited to perform in Israel in 2017 at the Maccabi Games. She's a dance assistant teacher at the Michael Ann Russell JCC, an honor student, and very involved in student government. Congratulations. The second person that is a member of our committee is Myra Vlapado. Please. Myra, I guess I first met Myra when she was singing, and she sang at every single program at ACES with the most incredible voice. She's an 11th grade honor student and member of chorus and drama clubs. She's a former ACES student. She's president of the B'nai B'rith Youth Organization, BBYO, Aventura chapter, volunteers her time at the Kosher Food Bank and the Salvation Army Homeless Kitchen and the Aventura Hospital. Congratulations. Our next member is someone well known to this commission because he spent all last year coming before the commission once a month, Nathaniel Manor. A 12th grade former Aventura Waterways K-8 student. He attends now Michael Kropp Senior High School. He's president of the Student Government Association, member of numerous honor societies, and competing delegate for several Model United Nations. Speech and debate associations. He's very, very active with the school newspaper, the Lightning Strike. He's a volunteer student researcher at the Palace Renaissance Alzheimer's Assisted Living Facility and winner of the Harvard Prize Book Award and various other awards and recognitions. And we have appreciated your monthly reports so much, Nathaniel. We're delighted you're on this group. Next person, and another male, Eric Perchik, 11, come on up. Former ACES student, honor student with memberships in several honor societies. He's a competitive rower and member of the Sunshine Game Day Club, which works to provide sports teams experience for children with disabilities, in addition to the Law Club and Political Club. Next, we have Rebecca Richmond Parks. Rebecca's a 10th grader at Le Lycée International Homeschool, participant in college-level online classes in art and history through the Museum of Modern Art, the University of Pennsylvania, and Columbia University. Works with children as a counselor in training at, well, it's a nearby city, at the city of Sunny Isles Beach, and volunteers for community events and pet adoptions. The next member is Gabriella Sartan. And Gabriella is a 9th grader, former ACES student, member of the Model United Nations, vice president of National Junior Honor Society. She grew up in the Ukraine, moving to the United States in 2008, winning various awards in the Regional Science Fair in Environmental Engineering, Poetry, and Swimming, and she's an aspiring Olympian. There are 2 other members that, due to, I guess, some school events or previously scheduled events, are not here tonight. One is Dawson Miller, and hopefully at the next meeting we'll introduce him to you. And then we have 3 alternate members. 2 of them are here tonight. The first is Emily Briskin. Emily, as I said, is a 9th grader with strong team leadership, interested in serving the community, and interested in building relationships within the community. And as an alternate, she will have the ability to see what our more mature high school students do with this kind of an activity. Our second alternate is Valerie Hands. Valerie is a 12th grade honor student, volunteers at JAFCO, which is a shelter that houses kids with different backgrounds, and she works as a counselor in the Aventura Chabad. She's extremely motivated to serve and get involved in her community. All of you. And thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner. I just have to say that the young people you've met tonight are some of the most impressive young people I've seen, and I've seen an awful lot of young people. Every single resume was done to perfection. And I said to the city manager, I would be happy to get resumes of that quality from people that seek employment in an agency that I work for. They are incredible, they're giving, they're assertive, they're involved, they care about the environment, they care about their community, and we are delighted that we're going to have a year to work with all of you. Anyone else in the commission want to say anything to her? Commissioner Lamon.
I just want to say that I'm so excited to welcome all of you to an experience that will hopefully give you insight into some of the things that we do, some of the things that, local government officials do, and that I hope that you get something really positive out of this. I hope that it gives you a passion for for public service, for serving your community, for getting more involved. I mean, all of you are extremely involved, so I just hope that it allows you to see how much your local government does for residents, in the community. So thank you for, taking the time out of your busy schedules to be a part of the city of Aventura.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is our Employee Service Award, and I'm going to request the city manager present the Employee Service Awards.
Let me say that's a hard act to follow. But let's give everybody a round of applause one more time. They did a great job. It's my pleasure to recognize one of our employees that has served with us for 10 years, Carlos Fernandez of our IT department. If you can come forward.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. And so everybody here understands the consent agenda is something that we've gone through on workshop, and none of these items raised any concern. So I'm going to ask if a member of the commission would like to remove any item from the consent agenda. Okay, then I think I'm going to ask the clerk. Mr. Attorney, do we have to have a motion to accept?
Yes, you may ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Narodsky. Can I have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Marks. I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks. Yes. Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Weinberg,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is item number 6, zoning hearings, and we're moving into a quasi-judicial public hearing, or we don't have one at all tonight. That's, what a shock. Okay, we do however, have an ordinance for first public reading, and I'm going to ask the city attorney to read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Chapter 31 Land Development Regulations by creating Section 31-151, uses prohibited in all zoning districts of Article 7, Use Regulations of Chapter 31 Land Development Regulations, regulating prohibited uses generally and specifically prohibiting medical marijuana dispensaries, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date.
Can I please have a motion for approval of the ordinance on first reading? Motion made by Commissioner Shelley, seconded by Commissioner Mizrahi. Oh, wait, we can just vote, I think. I'm going to open the item to comments by the public. If there are no comments from the public, I'm going to ask if anyone from the commission has any comments or statements or questions. Seeing as there are none, I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley, Vice Mayor Weinberg,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes,
Motion passes on first reading.
thank you. I'm going to now ask the city attorney to read the next ordinance, B.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Chapter 30 Environment at Article 3 Stormwater by creating Sections 3061 through 3067, providing for an enhanced stormwater management system and specifying environmental and other regulations concerning said system, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for penalty, and providing for an effective date.
Can I please have a motion for approval of this ordinance? Moved by Vice Mayor Weinberg. I have a seconded by Commissioner Landman. I will ask the city manager to review this item.
This is an ordinance that came out of our workshop meeting back in March. We discussed our stormwater master's plan and also the sea level rise issues. And basically, this is stronger regulations governing our stormwater master plan. It provides for the protection of the city in the event of private stormwater facilities that are located on private property but have a detrimental effect to the public system. Also allows the Public Works Department to go on private property to inspect the drainage system to make sure it's operating in accordance with its original permit. And it provides specific regulations for construction sites and activities that impact our stormwater system, and also lists various pollutants in the stormwater system that are prohibited from being dispensed into the stormwater system. So basically, it's adopting a much stronger stormwater management ordinance to protect our system and the city's residents.
Thank you. I'm going to open the item for public comment. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to address this? I'm going to close the item to public comment, and I'm going to ask if any member of the commission has any questions or comments. Commissioner Shelley.
Yeah, City Manager, I got a question. In terms of the runoff from private to public, is it that most of the private properties do run off into the city sewer of some sort, or the stormwater system?
Not most of them. There's two that we were aware of in the city at this time. And
So how do they handle their own, just natural?
it's supposed to be discharged into their system, and it was designed a certain way, and some of them do feed into our system. They have a permit. If they exceed what the permit allows, then we would go in and make sure that they make modifications to the system so it reduces that impact.
So this is giving us the ability to go onto them or create a demand for a repair and upgrade to those systems
Correct.
that are affecting us negatively?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, I'll ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Weinberg,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
The motion passes on first reading.
Thank you. Item number 8 is an item that we're going to defer. City Attorney, do you still want to read the ordinance?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay,
Just
then
to-
please do.
Thank you. An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending the official zoning map of the City of Aventura by amending the zoning designation for a 2-acre parcel of land located on the north side of Northeast 213th Street, as more particularly described in Exhibit A to this ordinance, from B2 Community Business District to MO Medical Office District, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, with recommended deferral to the meeting of October 3rd, 2017, regular City Commission meeting.
Okay, can I please ask for a motion to defer this item for public hearing to be held at the October 3rd commission meeting?
Motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Narotsky, seconded by Commissioner Shelley. I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Weinberg,
Yes.
Mayor Weisman.
Yes.
The motion to defer passes.
Thank you. I'm going to now ask the city attorney to read the next ordinance, which will also be deferred.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, approving an amendment to the development agreement pursuant to Chapter 163 Florida statutes dated November 8, 2006, made between Gulfstream Park Racing Association Incorporated as developer and the City of Aventura to extend the term of the agreement from July 7, 2017 to July 7, 2024, to revise Exhibits A and B to the agreement with new legal descriptions for the reconfigured B2 district and MO district parcels, to add the 2-acre conveyance to the city, and to amend the vehicular access restriction to and from Northeast 213th Street, all relating to parcels of land located on the north side of Northeast 213th Street, east of Biscayne Boulevard, City of Aventura, authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the city, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
May I have,
Make a motion to defer.
a motion to defer, Bob, thank you. Made by Commissioner Shelley,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Landman. Can we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Weinberg,
Yes.
Mayor Weisman.
Yes.
The motion to defer passes.
Okay. With that, I'm just going to mention something, because I know it's on everyone's mind, and it's Hurricane Irma. And it would be remiss of us as public officials not to mention a couple of things about Irma. Number one, hurricane shelters are going to be opened in this part of Dade County. Michael Kropp Senior High will be a hurricane shelter. Highland Oaks Middle School will be a hurricane shelter. North Miami Beach Senior High will be a hurricane shelter. North Miami Senior High will be a hurricane shelter. With that said, having grown up here and lived through every single hurricane, this is the time we need all of our residents to take the time to prepare. It's quite possible that we might be in an evacuation zone. Every coastal city or near coastal city generally is in an evacuation zone, but good precautions usually pay off. I would like to give you, I guess, a couple of things that you can Google, go to the site, and you can get your own updates. Please sign up to receive Miami-Dade County emergency alerts to your phone or email online. You need to review your hurricane preparedness, and they have a checklist right online for you. And you also can track the most recent updates if you visit the National Hurricane Center. And you all probably know how to do that much better than I do. In the case of an evacuation for our city, I will urge you to follow that directive. What's really important is that every resident in this city remain safe. The storm will pass, but there's a time where it can be very dangerous. There are evacuation centers that I've named. There are the schools. But if you want to leave, and this is only from years of experience, the closer it gets to Sunday, the more traffic there will be heading north. So if you're driving, make your arrangements to leave early, make your hotel reservations. You might have friends or family in another part of the city, and you may stay with them. I want you to know there are also pet shelters. There are shelters for the elderly and people with assistance. They'll be contacted tomorrow. They're all registered with the County Management Services, Emergency Management Services. So with that said, anyone else on the commission? Anything? Commissioner Landman?
For those, probably everybody knows by now, but schools will be closed Thursday and Friday, obviously. So I'm not sure if you said that earlier, but
Yeah, and that's because they're being used as shelters. But also, we don't want people on the streets.
Yeah,
Okay, and
I got a couple announcements too.
Okay.
Our parks will be closed starting Thursday to Sunday because of the impending storm, and as it was said, the schools will be closed as well. Again, as the mayor said, we urge you to take the storm serious. It's 185 miles an hour at this time. They anticipate it, being about 150 as it comes into this area. So, as the mayor said, make sure you have your plan in effect and take all precautions and be safe.
And I do want to say this, because for the past 2 weeks, all of us have done nothing but watch what's going on in Houston on TV. I can't tell you what happens or where the hurricane's going to hit, but what I can tell you is that Dade County is not Houston, and Florida is not Texas. We have the strictest building code in the entire United States, as opposed to having none. Okay? We have very vigilant code enforcement. And those of you that live in our city know that our city goes above what the county even says. With that said, listen to alerts. Storms have minds of their own. We think they're going one place and they wind up somewhere else. So you really need to pay attention to those sites that I've given you. And I just hope you all take care and that you're safe. And I think if you're allowed to stay and you are staying, make sure you have enough water for 2 weeks. Okay, food's important, but water becomes crucial. If you haven't gassed up your cars, go ahead and gas them up. If we lose power, the gas stations lose power. So we know we have a lot of residents that haven't gone through hurricanes before. So these are precautions. Please go online and get the list of hurricane preparedness. We also have it on our city site. And the city's been very active in social media, giving updates and the progression and the path of the hurricane. So with that said, are there any reports from any Commissioner Mizrahi?
No, one thing that everybody forgets is getting cash. Credit cards will not be used if the light is not on.
Very good point. Commissioner Lamon.
On a separate subject, something a little more light, I want to invite all of the residents and everyone that's here tonight. We have Peace Day 2017 coming up September 20th at 10 a.m. at the Aventura Arts and Cultural Center. And, with everything that's going on in this country nowadays, Peace Day, which is Together for Peace, Respect, Safety, and Dignity for All, is a great opportunity to showcase, the values that the city of Aventura and that our school believes in. So we welcome all of you there, and, it should be a great event. And then another thing I wanted to mention, and we didn't go over the consent agenda, but one of the items on the consent agenda, item F, is actually we approved our Green Market to restart up back again in November, and this year it's going to be on Founders Park North. So it's not going to be where it used to be. It's going to be where actually the fields are, and hopefully that'll allow people that are already at the park to actually, stop by and be a little bit more convenient. So that'll be starting November through March, and that's something that we just approved on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor? If I may, just have one item to announce. My litigation partner, Matt Mandel, asked me to announce and request attorney-client sessions to be scheduled in the future for a series of attorney-client sessions on the various component litigations related to the Prevade development. And that would be the Williams Island Property Owners Association, the David Clark case, the Derek Clark case, and the Island Estates homeowners case. We'll be coordinating that in the future so we can get direction and give updates on those cases. Thank you.
Very much appreciated. Tell Mr. Mandel.
Thank you.
Commissioner Narodsky.
I know it's just on the matter of coordinating the dates. Can that be something that we get sent out, okay, when are you available type thing, as opposed to it's happening in this day? Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Yep. Anybody else? Do any members of the public have any comments or want to address the commission for any reason? My guess is a few months from now, we're going to have a lot of you that will be addressing the commission on different items. Are All right, with that, let me ask for a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Marks, second. Commissioner Landman, with that, I declare this meeting adjourned. Very quickly, the next meeting will be September 13th, second budget hearing. September 13th at 6 p.m.